hiding in my brain is the nasty tick monster. Attacks when he's mad. When I was like about 6 or 7 years old, about 6.5, I started doing a lot of different motor tics, and during a soccer game was one of the first times it really greatly impacted my life. Like I started to have a tic where I put my knee up to my mouth or knee up to my head, and I did that while I was running, and it really impeded my life, and it started to really impact my life. So my parents took me to the doctor, pediatrician at first, and went to a few doctors, and they diagnosed me with Tourette Syndrome. I had lots of different tics with my legs and arms, and I had a spinning tic that started pretty early, where I spun around in circles, and I had some like muscle tics where I just started doing like a whole system of like I had muscle tics where I just had a whole system of a whole ritual of like different types of tics with my muscles tensing up and different parts of my body, and in my face and different parts of my body.
When I was little, I would jump up and down and flap my hands whenever I got excited, and now that doesn't happen as much, but every once in a while I'll do that just to sort of get the energy out of my system. And now I sort of have a little bit of a neck twitch thing, I don't, it's something to do with me flipping my hair a while back, and I guess it just sort of stuck.
Well, he exhibited symptoms very early on. At 2, he had severe temper tantrums, banging his head. He had a lot of sensory motor things, not integration. He didn't like to be touched a lot, and he was very oppositional, defiant. And although you could attribute that to being a 2-year-old, we have a background in childhood disorders. I'm a speech-language pathologist. My husband's a pharmacist, and so we realized very early on that there was something not quite right. We went through the gamut of thinking it might be autism or other kind of sensory integration things, but then we realized that at around 7, right?
7.5.
It was Tourette Syndrome, and we got the pediatrician to give us a referral to the neurologist, and she did in fact diagnose it as Tourette Syndrome.
Especially during the first few years of my having Tourette Syndrome, I really couldn't control my tics, and it's not that I can truly control my tics now or since, but I really especially was frustrated because my parents and the school was my teachers and everyone was still learning about what's the best way to handle the situation. Whether to give me breaks, how to set up breaks from class so that I wouldn't screech or scream or do a whole slew of tics during class that would disrupt my whole learning, and it did for a while, but eventually we got it under control.
For the most part, obviously we weren't in school with him, but he would basically try and mask the Tourette's. He would try and suppress it, and then when he would come home, it would be like an explosion sometimes where he would, everything was pent up for the whole day, and then he had the outlet when he was home around familiar surroundings to do his tics, because he had vocal tics as well as motor tics, but the vocal tics were the ones that he was suppressing throughout the day, which I guess was fortunate that he was able to suppress it out in public, whereas some people just can't suppress it at all. They just have to do it when they need to do it. He was able to suppress it for the most part, but as I said, it built up after 6, 7, 8 hours of school, where he had to have an outlet, and it was when he was home and in more comfortable surroundings.
Not really. Like, I don't try that hard. I mean, I'm sure, like, I try not to do it, but when I have to, I'm okay with doing it.
A lot of my friends understood, I think, or at least started to really grasp what Tourette Syndrome was fairly quickly. I mean, at least most of them did. But the kids in school that I wasn't necessarily as close with as some of my friends, they did tease me, and it really was worse during elementary school, especially like 1st and 2nd grade, because I mean, as kids are a little more immature and they don't understand as much about like tolerance of different things that are different. I think it was something weird that they never saw before or heard of, and it was hard for me at first because I did get teased or just bombarded with questions. But it was really the teasing that I could handle the questions, but it was really the teasing that was more of a problem.
In school, if he did tic at all, the kids would make fun of him, and he would feel very badly about that. And he was very athletic. He is still very athletic, and it sort of put a damper on him participating in the sports and the activities. And he focused so much attention on suppressing his tics that he had a very difficult time trying to take notes, listen to the teacher. And so although his IQ is perfectly normal and he's a smart kid, he wasn't doing as well in school, and it was very frustrating.
For the first 2 or 3 weeks, it was, pretty difficult because I was doing a lot of twitching, and nowadays it doesn't really affect me that much, except every once in a while people that I've known for a while will say, why do you do that twitchy thing, or what's wrong with your neck? And I'll tell them I have Tourette's, and that's pretty much it. And I've heard some rumors that some people think I'm like a vain jerk or something, like I'm flipping my hair all the time.